Hello, everyone. Welcome to Open Horn of Africa. This is our weekly program, Invest in Ethiopia. Today, we are going to discuss Ethiopia's economic achievements over the past 7 years. To discuss this matter, I joined by Ambassador Jamal Bakr, Ambassador of Ethiopia to Pakistan. Till the end of our program, stay tuned. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for making time for this interview.
It's my great pleasure, Fikadu, to talk to you today after the, 24 megabits of where the change has been started in our country. I like to extend my warm greeting to all Ethiopians, especially for those who have fought to give birth and implement this reformist government in our country, our Prime Minister, beloved Prime Minister, who have done through those all challenging time and brought Ethiopia where it is today. So to just say a little bit, my title is bit increased, Fukadu.
Okay.
I'm also not only ambassador to Pakistan, so I'm an ambassador of Ethiopia to Pakistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Tajikistan. So I recently presented my credential to the 3 other countries. So just to add a little bit on that.
Let me begin with this question. Would you please brief us the economic policy Ethiopia has been following during the past 7 years?
Thank you, Gadu. I think this is a basic tenet of the question, the crux of the matter. What led to the change? Why Ethiopia's reformist government born? So the reason starts from here. So there is a structural fractures in Ethiopia's politics, economics, social, and foreign policy relations as well. So the reformist government born how to address this fracture Ethiopia's through identification of Ethiopia's, by looking into history, what Ethiopia's capital, what Ethiopia has in the previous region, and looking in perspective of timeline from the past, now, and the future. So connecting this. So the economic policy is born out of this reformist government. Number one, when the reformist governments take power, one of the issues is the economic injustice that happened in our country, the economic inequalities, exclusions. There are a small group that was manipulating the Ethiopia's economy. So it is not broad-based, it is not inclusive, all those things. The reform number one is try to address the structural problem associated with this, the macroeconomic that has been brought. For the last, in the last, region, the Ethiopia's, economy was basically based on debt-led, which is taking burden on Ethiopia's current and future generations. So the first policy we have introduced was homegrown economy, looking inside. So what Ethiopia has, the potential that we had. Number one potential we have is land and water, human resource. Then how can we change this into assets, the value addition of Ethiopia's economy? So this is one perspective. The policies paradigm shift is this one. And then we try to address the microeconomic issues. So one, no loan will be taken from other institutions. This is number one, no commercial loan. This is one. So that by stabilizations of microeconomic activities of Ethiopia, we try to address the structural issues through debt decreasing, debt avoidance, and then by increasing productivity. Second to that is increase Ethiopia's productivities by addressing the challenges that hold back the economy. Structural problem, that is energy, infrastructure, human resource. All those things has been in place so that addressing this. The third one is focusing on sectoral issues. What sectors Ethiopia at this point give priority to? Why? And how to achieve those goals. Maybe we'll see later on those. So there is a policy paradigm shift which focuses on diversities of sectoral perspectives, which Ethiopia has. Ethiopia is endowed. It has a huge potential. Why we limit only agricultural-led in the, policy? So we diversified our economic base, our economic, perspective. So that policy drives Ethiopia's by identifying its priority, by setting which priorities to be given. All sectors should be given equal and given importance, do based on 1, 2, 3, and then achieve the aspiration of Ethiopia's people. So the second is also how to manage the economy itself. Previously, economic inclusion is there. So now the federal government designed a policy which includes all inclusivity. This is an inclusive throughout, based on the ecology and the economic importance of the region. The third point is increasing productivity. Above all, countries, if we don't produce, if we don't increase our productivities, we cannot depend on aid. Ethiopia says no. Now we need to ensure economic sovereignty, economic sovereignty of a nation, so that this Ethiopia will feed itself. Not only feed itself, it will support also others. And we have achieved this one through a mega, project that we have implemented, and within a short period of time, that has completely changed the economic landscape of Ethiopia. And Ethiopia is becoming #1 wheat production in Africa. This is something you don't think of. They say Ethiopia, it cannot, but we show not only by word, by doing it, from word to action. We have done. So our policy is a very pragmatic policy based on Ethiopia's potentials and also regional integration. The fourth one is regional integration economy. Your economy cannot stand by itself. You need to do with the rest of others. So that is what our foreign policy says. Give priority #1 to our neighbors, so that develop regional integration economy. That is why it's the bone, like trade and regional integration ministries and the others. Trade agreement, which is ensuring Ethiopia and part of leading that part to ensure regional integrations through that developing infrastructure, people, goods movement, and through time develop a capital, that will have similar customs and also, ease of moves of goods and services from one place to the other. So this is what happened. So we are doing these policies actually, so we have achieved great things in the last 7 years.
Okay, thank you, Ambassador. You have raised many reasons why the government has made reform on economy and the policies that designed to improve the country's economy. So, in your view, does the current economic policy Ethiopia is implementing conducive enough to cope up with the current global economic challenges?
Let us see. What is one country's economic basic measurement for one country? #1 is GDP for any country, the production and productivities of a nation. What did we do in the last 7 years, especially in the last 2, 3 years? Ethiopia doubles its digits, double its GDP, increase its per capita income. That was attested not only by by Ethiopian government, but the international legitimate institutions such as World Bank, IMF. They said Ethiopia is #1 in East Africa. It's not Ethiopia's government, it is IMF report. So this, the GDP has surpassed other countries that has been before us. Second, it is the third economy in sub-Saharan country. It's huge. So why this happened? So we cope up. Now, one thing is very important, self-sufficiency. The economic point concept is this one. Ethiopia strives to become self-sufficient. Good example, let us look into COVID. What happened during COVID? During COVID, most of the, other countries, they blocked, they, stopped. But Ethiopia has increased its export during COVID. It has increased its productivity. Agricultural sector increased. Exports of manufacturing goods increased. Livestock increased. Coffee increased. This shows the resilience of our economy. Resilient. Even during those difficult times, we couldn't be, said. So since then, the economic is guided by homegrown economic reform agenda. It's a priority is there. If there is any challenge happen, how to tackle, what opportunities exist around the globe, and what threat can emanate from there. So one is the threat that can come is import good. So that we followed up import substitution good. Then we try to produce Ethiopia's economic inside. And with the joint policies that increase, we identified 96 items, product items to be exported through 10 years, plan, where we have achieved so far almost 41%, of which Ethiopia expected to produce 60% of its product at inside the country. So this policy has led Ethiopia's increase. The second one is also what? We save a lot of capitals that used to import other goods by increasing productivities. We increased agricultural, we increased, industries base. We broadened the industry base. Our prime minister injected, let Ethiopia manufacture, Ethiopia tamarind projects in 2014. That campaign has completely changed. Through that, we have done 108, conferences, exhibitions done for local manufactured products, where that has been completely linked and connected more than 100,000 of this and create a market linkage. And also people believe in then Ethiopia can do that and buying the Ethiopia's product. That has completely changed the Ethiopia. So the Ethiopia has then taken this pragmatic economic measure to lessen and the impact that it can emanate from the global. The agricultural products, that is coffee, you can say, banana, papaya, avocado, we are exporting to the Middle East and also the European country. This completely changed and increases the productivity, restoration of the environment, restoration of productivity, increase in that also the quality based, which is competitive quality based. So the quality is important. When you enter into the global market, if you are not competent enough, you cannot survive. So we compete through quality. And then last two, I think, months, our prime minister has inaugurated the quality village. That is completely changing, so that whatever produced in Ethiopia, it also maintain a global standard. So those standards has been made. So our product is also very comparative in that. So completely we are doing all those activities to lessen and also increase our market share at the global level, in the continent level. This has shown on those figures that I've mentioned.
Well, Ambassador, actually you have tried to mention some of them. The government has identified 5 economic pillars, and a true reform was conducted on each. Why those 5 pillars, and how do you see the fruits of those reforms?
Yes, this is very important. I try to mention some of them. So in order, we have developed homegrown economic reform. We have implemented the first one, and we have seen the outcome, what we have seen out of that. We try to create, a stable economy. The second homegrown economic reform that we have, implemented the beginning of this Ethiopian New Year. So what we have done so far, those homegrown economic is trying to address microeconomic structural problem by floating our currency. This is one, determination of our country in the global. If you enter into the global, you cannot say, don't go in, don't come in. You can't. We need to integrate our economies into the global system and benefit and get out of these opportunities by lessening, also working on the trade that can come to us. So this structural adjustment has been so far shown a good, which has also increased the confidence of foreign direct investment on Ethiopia, so that by floating the currency in the global market, which has addressed also. The second the government is doing is also increasing the revenue of the nation. Revenue is very important. The government is doing this very, very good. Investment and revenue balance should be there. And also export and export balance. That should be done. So through what? Increasing of productivities of agriculture, manufacturing, and mining, and technology and services as well. So we have identified 5 sectors. One is agriculture and agro-processing. As you know, Ethiopia's economy major depends, the backbone is still agriculture. 45% of our GDP, 80% of our job, and 90% close to that export comes from agriculture. So quality of agriculture, what we have done for so far for agriculture, number one, any taxes levied on agricultural input, almost 500 of the items taxable has been removed to increase agricultural productivity. Second, we have done also in this one technological utilization and mechanization. Without, our agricultural land, as Fukadu is, a small and medium farm. So how can we transform this small and medium farm? Is the policy is mostly African, they cannot do. So we did this one through, like cluster farming, and by giving them, machinery access to that, so completely increasing their productivities on the agricultural basis by supplying also, fertilizers on timely, and also a very good seed, which is productive seeds and other machineries, accessories to agriculture. So we have doubled. Plus again, what we have done, we have a huge land in lowland area. We established the lowland and irrigation ministry, which try to do investment and try to mobilize stakeholders on the lowland areas, especially Somalia, Afar, Borana, all this area has got a huge land. Then we have been seeing an amazing thing that has been completely increased the productivities on the agricultural sector, on the wheat, number one in Africa. And then we are also rice now on the rise, and many other products that nation needs. Self-sufficiency, economic sovereignty is there. So we're working on agricultural output in that sense. And we have so far even moved from rainfed to irrigations. This year, almost 4.7 hectares, millions of hectares are expected to be by regular rain and the other irrigations. We are expecting around, from even by its width, 300 million ton, which is huge amount that never been in Ethiopia's context. So this agricultural product, then coffee increase, export is increasing in the last last time when the prime minister was reporting to the House of Representatives. He said in the 8 months, we had 1.2 billion dollar exports. You can see in the remaining, if we finish, so we'll reach 2 billion, which was historic magnificency, never been in Ethiopian history. And the same is true in other parts. So we have been doing amazing thing on this one. The second pillar is also sector is manufacturing. Ethiopia believes in manufacturing is, Ethiopia has a comparative advantage. Number one, because it has a comparatively a huge, cheap and clean energy, number one, which is very easy. 98% of our energy is clean. Second, we have a skilled labor, which is comparatively, in with others in decent price, which is that one. The third one we have is infrastructural connectivity the government is giving. We have substituted so far close to 2 billion of this year, if you consider. So it is a complete transformation. We are identifying all those sectors and set in 10 years of our program where Ethiopia has to manufacture 60% of its goods and services at home. So almost we have reached now for 1.04, which shows we are on a right track record to achieve that one. And so this manufacturing base broaden and increasing it is well in progress. The third one is mining. Mining is an input. Previously, there is a fear that if we try to go into mining, it is a very lucrative areas, so that it can disintegrate Ethiopia. It's not the issue of mine. It is a political issue. Ethiopia. We have addressed those things through bringing all Ethiopians from all walks. So then mining become now a backbone of economy of Ethiopia now. By cement, you can see a lot of cement. So also coals recently manufactured, inaugurated by our prime minister. Cement, we have increased, granite, all those things. And also gold these days, that the gold is increasing. We have potassium, lithium, all those minerals. We have natural gas deposits in the Ogaden Basin and many others also Ethiopian parts. We are working to make this one. We have history. No, we have to change into economic assets. It has to be. It has to be moved into the economic value and change the well-being of our society, holistic well-being and distributive justices for that. That is the issue. So how this product extracted from mining distributed, that is the issue. That is very important. So giving priorities to localities and regional and federal. So that is a federal distributive justice. Our prime minister is named by IGAD, ambassador for tourism, as you know. He has done something marvelous outside the box. He discovered what Ethiopia's potential. He identified now the ecosystem of Ethiopia's tourism completely changed. Almost 14 new tourist destinations developed, inaugurated, and implemented by our prime minister through a funding of, dying for sugar, start from there, dying for nations, then dying for generations. And through this, all there are projects that has been done, inaugurated, and has been world-class, tourism destination that has been we are promoting very well this, tourist destination here in Pakistan. And we have done twice in different cities. Ethiopia ranks increased 40% in Africa. So number one, and at the global sixth ranking in terms of attracting tourism. So during this reforms time, we have almost attracted 1.4 billion population. Almost around 4 billion population has visited Ethiopia during this reform time. We have gained almost around 50.46 billion USD from tourism, especially this year. You know that a lot of has been happened, and we are also increasing MICE, which is, international conference expos in Ethiopia. Recently, Addis Ababa International Expo, within a short export. And Ethiopia is becoming now, even some of them, the diplomats saying, the second international conference center, not the third even. So these things have been done through tourism promotion and safety and security and all those things, the infrastructure that we have. It's large. And it is also Ethiopia's visit to one another, know one another. So there is a huge perspective on that economic aspect on tourism and all those things. So a lot of people are visiting. Simply, if you see during hot time, Ethiopia is a given weather. Everybody can move in and they stay. So you have a lot of now lodges, Chabara, Chorchora, Helala, and also down in Dafar, in Lucy areas. Those things are amazing. Above in Gorgora, you have Wanji, all those things. So this is the heaven on the earth, and we are being blessed with this. And there are also around 25 renewed and existing tourist destination has been uplifted, it is service and all those things. So Ethiopia is integrating also tourism satellite, visit Ethiopia through many promotion activities so that the world knows Ethiopia. Recently, as you know, stopover a tourism initiative which was signed by tourism ministries and immigration and Ethiopian Airlines, which is good. So stopover, a lot of 100 million passengers are passing. If they go in and give them visa easy, so that they can go in and buy something, at least stay one day. So they spent minimum. If one body go in, stay $100. It's very simple, minimum. So how many billions you can collect if you get those? Digitalization, Ethiopia 2025 digital, which is led by our Deputy Prime Minister, His Excellency Temasken. So this digitalization process is trying to link all services, addressing also the maladministration of good services, all those things. So electronic services is given. What is very important, how to maintain the safety and security from attacks and also uses. So Ethiopia has stringent regulatory systems that has been adopted also transformation technological digitalization system that has already integrating into the economy by expanding infrastructure throughout the country. Ethiopian Telecom, we invited also Safaricom, all this to benefit and give accesses. So digital inclusivity is also very important in this case. So the economic empowerment of those marginalized in the past, especially by giving them all those things. So that has been done a lot in this aspect is fair. So recently, as the Prime Minister said, almost 9.6 trillion is done through digitalization, which is a completely surpassing all those existing. So in the last, 7 years of Ethiopia's, reformist year, we have totally transformed Ethiopia's economy, and we are also getting our share at the global level. And we are creating a very strong, resilient economy above all by introducing this homegrown economic structural reform.
While discussing Ethiopian economic progress of the last 7 years, it is must to discuss this green economic policy Ethiopia is following, which is getting international recognition. What is your take on this?
I think this is one tool that we have contributed. Look, at the global level, generation of ideas, selling that idea, implementing. First, we generate that idea, thanks to our Prime Minister, who is the lead of this change, who has Green Legacy Initiative. So this Green Legacy Initiative born out of the philosophy of Medemer, which is basically synergy. So that the way we look at environment, okay, and human, people, and environment relations. So we need to have a clean, green, and green culture also, green behavior. So this is a complete transformation of Ethiopia's. And keep yourself clean. This you see, the development of corridors, Ethiopian city, those transformation is coming, giving priority to the people. People was entitled to live in a decent life and live in a green and clean environment. This is a complete, perspective that gives people by itself is an end and not a means. So this is one approach that we have. So Green Legacy Initiative, a green economy development is looking in the future, not only today. So looking in the future, invest in the future. So now those Green Legacy Initiative is also a future-oriented and resilience adaptive to the changing global dynamisms that is, threatened by climate change. Ethiopia has done its role, and we have shown that we can do it, and we have done it. So that so far in the last 6 years, we have planted almost 40 billion seedling. That has completely transformed the economic and the social landscape, the environmental landscape of Ethiopia. Everywhere is green. If you see the corridor developed last time when the president of South Africa was giving about on the city development, he was case taking. The prime minister has shown me. I have been looking. It is a complete transformation. He said, Joburg was beautiful when I was young, walking on the city. But now something different has happened. Addis Ababa has surpassed us. That is a good legitimacy. That is what we have done so far has got a legitimacy. So this complete transformation is greening. So, we are importing also electric charger, services, transportations. We have stopped in a policy case. No other country has done. Stop. We have done it. And no other country did to do. We did it. We believe in investing in this one because we have a comparative advantage. Our energy is almost 98% green, hydro, wind, solar, and geothermal. So we are competing. So creating the environment that will create conducive for this is very imperative. And Green Legacy has completely changed the landscape of Ethiopia and the regional. So we have exporting these ideas to the global. So fraternity, planting fraternity with our neighbor. We did it with all our neighbor. Fraternity planting we did with the rest of the globe. We cross all the way. The Middle East, Arabian Sea, we have been doing Green Legacy in Pakistan. The Pakistan government has adopted Ethiopia's Green Legacy initiative as, the policies that they are doing. So we are supporting, working with one another on them, on this fighting climate, and also ensuring climate justice. So we have been doing amazing. Ethiopia's, like charitable during the, summertime has completely changed. Now we are heading also this time. And this year we are going to break also another record. I hope last year we did 670 billion seedling in a day. This year we have more record. I expect so. So we can do it. We can do that. So these kind of things are completely transition. We have also nationally contribution assessments of Ethiopia's action plan, which by 2050 Ethiopia will be zero net emissions. And we have been on the track record achieving this one. And we have showing on the COP20, COP29 that has happened also. And we have shown in Dubai and also Baku this year, which has got a complete amazing support from the global community, and we have been doing amazing. We will do this one, and it will help and fight against the climate, and also ensure its adaptability and mitigation.
Ambassador, thank you for your time and a deep insight on our program. Really, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Ricardo, for having me. I will greet all OBN team for their doing wonderful things. Let us keep and try to do our level best in this process. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Dear viewers, this brings us to the end of our today's edition. See you next time with another program. Till then, bye-bye. Take care.